Hello everyone, Soulflame here, playing on my Protection Paladin Paladin. Today I'll be giving you a quick run through of the tanking silver version of the Proving Grounds. As always, a quick look at my glyphs and talents. While you can't use potions in the Proving Grounds, you can use health stones, so be sure to pick one up from the soul well near the wall. Although I do use some minor cooldowns in this video, I've made a conscious decision not to use any major ones. You can use them in any round that's giving you trouble. All of the countdowns and warnings you'll see as the video progresses are provided by the Proving Grounds module of the DBM add-on. If you don't already have that, I suggest you get it. Wave 1 starts things out easy. It's one each of a large Ripper and small Ripper. Rippers are basic melee mobs, they don't do anything special. Just pick them up as they spawn in. It should be noted that enemies will only spawn in one of two places during Silver Mode. You may find it helpful to mark those locations with raid markers so that you can keep track of where mobs will be coming from. As I get the countdown that the next round is about to start, I use my speed boost, Speed of Light, to very quickly cross the distance to get into position to pick up Wave 2.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Wave 2 has 3 each of small foragers and large foragers. The only additional mechanic to worry about with foragers is that their melee attacks stack up a dot on you. It can stack up fairly quickly, and at high stacks it does a decent amount of damage, so you may want to use a small cooldown or some manner of crowd control to help reduce the damage. In my case, I used a combination of Light's Hammer and Glyphed Divine Protection. Between the extra damage and healing of Light's Hammer and the 20% damage reduction from the glyph, those two cooldowns handle this round quite nicely.
3, 2, 1.
Wave 3 introduces a new type of mob called a Flamecaller. This is a caster type mob that puts puddles of lava on the ground and then starts chain casting Pyroblast. You want to avoid standing in the fire puddles, but you also want to use them to your advantage because they will damage your enemies if you tank your enemies in them. If the caster mob is still alive, you can use your shield to silence him and force him to run into the lava. For melee mobs, you'll want to lead them into the lava. If you can't pull them from ranged, what you'll want to do is, as I did here, stun them and then run to the other side of the puddle. The dot you get for standing in the puddle stacks, so the longer you keep them in it, the quicker they will die.
1.
Wave 4 has a large Flamecaller and 2 each of small foragers and large foragers. As always when facing a Flamecaller, you want to do your best to tank everything in the lava while staying out of it yourself. If you do happen to take a little damage from the lava, you might want to hit a cooldown or give yourself some extra healing to make up for the extra damage you're taking. Normally I would want to tank these mobs a little further out, but since they got away from me a little at the beginning, I use Light's Hammer to pull them under control, and I positioned it such that the healing would also hit Sakari. A trick you can use if you need to is to put Hand of Protection on Sakari. If you do that, anything attacking her will come running to you immediately.
3, 2, 1.
Wave 5 throws a new mechanic at you in that a couple mobs will spawn in midway through the round. Here I get a little trigger happy and interrupt the Invoke Lava Cast. Ideally I should have let him finish channeling that, just so that I have a few more puddles to work with when it comes time to tank the enemies in the lava. Midway through the round, a pack of 3 large foragers will spawn in and immediately head towards Sakari. Be sure to pick those up as quickly as you can, at range if possible, so that they come stand in the lava. Once again, I use a combination of Consecration and Light's Hammer to pull the mobs away from her, and I positioned Light's Hammer such that Sakari also gets the healing. A good deal of Paladin survivability comes from good use of Bastion of Glory and Eternal Flame, so be sure you understand how those mechanics work.
1.
Wave 6 features a small Ripper and a large version of a new type of mob called a Wind Guard. Wind Guards have a really annoying ability called Wing Blast. Every few seconds they will use it, knocking you backwards and dropping threat. The best way to handle this is to very quickly taunt and then hit it with a ranged ability. Either your Judgment or your Shield Toss should work. Because of this mechanic, you'll probably find it useful to keep the Wing Guard targeted whenever you're facing one. Here I start kiting the remaining mob towards the next spawn location so that I'll be a little closer when the next wave spawns in. Fortunately, everything died before the round ended and the next wave arrived, but if ever you do have survivors, you can just pull them into the next pack.
1.
Wave 7 features a large wind guard, a small flame caller, and a large ripper. This wave can be just a bit tricky because you'll need to target the flame caller in order to interrupt his casts and force him to move into the lava. However, you'll also want to, as much as possible, keep the wind guard targeted so that you can very quickly taunt him to regain aggro when he drops it. Combining Wing Blast with the lava puddles provides a few caveats. First, watch your positioning because the knockback might push you through or into a puddle, which you don't want. On the other hand, his movement provides ample opportunities to force him to move through the lava puddles. Take advantage of them. The two large mobs in this round have quite a few hit points, so if you don't make good use of the lava pools, then they'll probably still be alive when you start round 8. If you are going to have one of those mobs left alive, don't worry too much about it. Just put as much damage into it as you can before the round ends, and then move over to pick up Wave 8 as it spawns in. Wave 8 starts off with a large wind guard and 4 small foragers. About halfway through the round, a large flame caller and a small ripper will spawn in. I use my usual technique of Consecrate plus Light's Hammer to pick up the pack of foragers and the wing guard. Do your best to keep them in the Light's Hammer, but the Wing Blast won't make that easy. As soon as the mobs spawn in midway through, the flame caller will start channeling the invoke lava. Take advantage of that time to go ahead and pick up the ripper, and then you're going to want to pull everything into a lava puddle. While you're doing this, don't lose track of the wing guard, and don't forget that you can use rebuke and or shield toss to silence the caster to bring him into the lava as well. As always, if you catch yourself in the lava, as I did a couple times there, don't forget to give yourself extra healing or a cooldown in order to make up for that extra damage you're going to take. And since I brought it up, let's talk about cooldowns. Guardian of Ancient Kings reduces all damage taken by 50% for 8 seconds and is on a 3-minute cooldown. Lay on Hands will instantly heal you for 100% of your health. If you use the Unbreakable Spirit talent, it has a 5-minute cooldown. Ardent Defender has a powerful cooldown that lasts for 10 seconds on a 3-minute cooldown. For the duration of the buff, you take 20% reduced damage and are able to cheat death. Any damage which would normally kill you instead consumes the buff and places your health at 15%. Divine Shield makes you completely immune to all damage for 8 seconds on a 5-minute cooldown. Be warned that becoming immune will make you lose aggro on all mobs, so be prepared to use Hand of Protection on Sakari to get the mobs back. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach me through this YouTube channel or on my blog. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope this video helped.